Good evening, darlings. Welcome to the first ever, we'll call it the first ever episode of Dinner with Miss Darlin. If you didn't know, here's what we're fixing to do. Early in the week, I put out a grocery list for y'all to cook along with me this evening. We're going to make supper together. We're going to kind of get right to it because I don't want to waste anybody's time. If you've got anybody, little ones maybe, if any kiddos are listening right now, the first thing we're going to do is wash our hands. So jump over there and do that. Let me tell y'all really quick that if you have comments or questions, I'll kind of like try to run over here from time to time, but I'm going to be pretty far away from the camera, so I'm not going to see them that well. But I'm going to try to explain it all and make sure everybody is good to go. I'm really happy to have y'all with me. I'm excited about this whole program. I'll tell you why in a minute. Let's do the first things first, which is going to be what we call a laundry item. Let's go ahead and get your pot of water boiling. Let me tell you, these folks that say things like you need X amount of quarts or X amount of cups, I don't know. I have a button, like the little knob on the side of my pot, and I'm like, I feel it too about the handle knob. I'm only doing 1 pound of pasta, so I fill my pot about 3/4 of the way full. I'm working on a gas range. I'm gonna start my pot of water on high because it takes a little bit to get hot. So start your water to get it boiling for the noodles. That's going to be a lengthy part, okay? I'm going to give everybody just a second. Run your water, get it in the pot, get it going. Now, let me do a little disclaimer here, okay? For anybody watching, and I might say this a little bit later on. No, I'm not wearing gloves, okay? And from time to time, you will probably see me like stack my spoons and things like that. This meal is being prepared tonight for myself and my 2 children, not going anywhere to the public. So we're kind of following, mama rules as far as procedures in the kitchen. Do y'all wear gloves when you cook supper for your kids? Probably not. So just keep that in mind. This is for a demonstration of personal consumption. I'm going to eat this food, okay? So I wanted to throw that disclaimer out and just make sure everybody understood that. All right, here's a very important part of what we're going to do. We're going to salt this water. Some of y'all are not going to like me for this part. Do what you love. However, don't put butter or oil or anything like that into your pasta water. You're probably going to go to the Italian bad place if you do that. I forgot about this kind of like Southern style. People think it'll break the noodles apart, but if you cook your noodles properly, and I'm going to tell you how, you don't need that extra fat in there. They're going to stay apart. However, what you do need is a generous amount of salt. Okay. Whatever you think is like, ooh, that's a lot of salt, just do a tiny bit more. This is your opportunity to flavor your noodles. Okay. So you're going to cook the noodles in that rolling boil of salted water, and it's going to be like, I'm doing a pound of noodles. I'm going to do about a hearty tablespoon. Okay. And we're going to salt the water. I know what you're thinking. You're like, okay, Miss Darlin, that feels like a bunch of salt. It is a bunch of salt. And my neighbor, Renato, I salted the water once in front of him not long after I moved to Italy. And he was like, it's not enough. Non abbastanza. It's not enough. What are you doing? Why so small? And so he put a big heap in there and went, from now on, do only this. So hearty amount of salt in here. I have a big skillet. You can use a short skillet as well. This is my big, I use this for everything. You do want a deep skillet if you've got one. I'll show you what I mean by deep. If I've got one over here, this kind of skillet will also work. And mine are old and loved. But if you have a deeper skillet, that's going to be perfect because we're going to end up with the noodles in the pan with our sauce. Okay, we're going to cook the sauce, throw the noodles on top. Okay, y'all give me some thumbs up if you've got your water going and ready to roll. We're not going to put noodles in there yet because it's going to happen quick. Cool. Okay, I'm seeing them. All right, we're going to use ground sausage. Can you use beef? Yes, but it's not quite the same. if you get in a pinch and you can't find a ground sausage, it's in this kind of like pallet kind of thing. You can get a bratwurst style and slit down the casing and dump it in and break it up like that. The only thing I don't recommend using is going to be breakfast sausage. In a pinch, a plain breakfast sausage would work, but just has a slightly different fat content. So we're just going to go like this right here with this guy. Dump him in the thing. Come on, guy. Get into the skillet, and then the skillet's going to go medium high, okay? See, I touched my face, but I'm not cooking for anybody but my family. So good, my lip itched. I'll go ahead and scratch it. So I just want y'all to know that's happening. We're going to turn this on medium heat. I'm just giving mine. I have this little like $4 from Kroger meat chopper thing. You can use a plastic spatula. You can use a wooden spoon. You can use anything like that, whatever you need. I'm just kind of breaking it up a little bit just to get it going. While that's going, y'all, we're like well on our way. I want you to know we're well into the meal. While that's going, I'm going to get my zucchini. I actually washed them before I put them back in the bag. I wanted to keep everything in one bag, so I just rebagged them. But if you did not wash your zucchini, give them a quick rinse and rub with your hands so that you're able to get off any residue and stuff like that. Pathogens, y'all. Okay. Thanks for cooking there, guy. I just have a regular old like vegetable knife kind of thing. I'm going to do 2 zucchini because we like them. So why not? You could do just one if you're not all that into it. I'm just going to cut the edges off. I realize you might not be able to see me cutting from here, but I don't want to move it too much further. As this cooks, I'm just going to break it up a little bit more at a time. My water is already starting to come up to a boil. One thing that I will always suggest as you cook with me is to do something that I just do in every single aspect of cooking and baking. But I want to say they call it, is it mise en place? To have everything in its place. We just say pull ingredients. So I pull all the ingredients into one location and we go from there. All right, now that this is cooking, I'm going to turn it on a little bit lower. And we're going to go like that. Cool. We're going to chop up the zucchini into diced pieces. And again, this is all preference. This is one of those meals that there really is not a, you must do it this way or else. It's not, first of all, cooking is not so much like that. Unless you're making a roux or something like that, then you kind of have to follow procedures. But this, I'm just going to chunk into pieces like this size because that's what we're into. We want to be able to hit it with a fork. But if you're trying to hide it from your kids, you dice it smaller and live your life. I want y'all to be happy. So I'm just going to chop this guy. Everybody still with me? Can y'all throw in the comments and let me know, am I going too fast? Are you keeping up? Anybody confused? Is your kitchen smelling good yet? Talk to me a little bit. And yes, I'm throwing this into barely browned sausage out there. Is everybody doing okay? There we go. I think we lost connection for just a second. But if for some reason we do, just hang out with me and I'll get you back, I promise. I'm shaking the camera with my knife skills here. Okay, good. Go slower. Okay. Susan, I hear you. I'm sorry. I do become kind of a machine in the kitchen, so I'll take it easy a little bit. It's like, this is like my second home here. So I'm just going to chop these a little bit smaller just to give me something to do in the meantime. We're not going to do any seasoning for the meats or anything like that just yet. I like to leave my seasoning for my cooking till the end. So, can y'all see inside my pot here? Yep, looks like you can. So we are just going to give this guy a little stir. Let the moisture from the zucchini start cooking down into this. We got water coming along. I want the noodles to be the very last thing that are actually cooked. Let's see. We're cooking hamburger and crock pot. Yeah, I totally agree. And Anna, one of the things Lillian, all you missed so far was boiling water, browning sausage, and chopping zucchini. So if you want to jump in, I promise you have not missed much. This is a really simple meal. Yeah, and Anna, something that I was afraid to do earlier on in my life until one of my oldest friends, Randy, she works at a bed and breakfast, and she taught me this accidentally. She didn't even know she was teaching me this at the time, but ground beef is so good to cook ahead and freeze and then pull back out. So if you're trying to do a spaghetti sauce for family that's coming over and you don't want to have to deal with kind of doing that piece of it, the messy meat work of it, you can definitely cook that ahead of time and then freeze it and then just pull it back out. So, yeah, if you're just joining us, we have water boiling. We got sausage going in here to brown it. And now we're adding the zucchini in. And you'll see the zucchini is starting to get like a little bit of that grease onto it. So we're going to cook it in the grease of the sausage. And that's what makes it magical. Okay. All right. So the goal of, while we're cooking the meat and stirring the zucchini and all of that, because it's going to take just a couple minutes. First of all, sausage is not a meat that you can cook rare. It needs to get cooked all the way browned all the way through. One thing that I want to tell y'all is if I tell y'all things like that, please never believe that I am being condescending or assuming that I am smarter than anybody, nothing at all. But I do know that people grew up in different ways and in different lifestyles. And as a result, some people know stuff and some people don't. And I also understand that in this video, in these viewings here, we've got people that are cooking with their kids for the first time, and or not the first time maybe, but just cooking with kids, or just learning a new recipe or whatever. And you never know. I'm a lifetime learner. I am an avid reader. I listen to different podcasts. I read all kinds of books about my job, not just the baking portion, but running the business. So I'm always going to kind of try to teach y'all something in case you don't know. So always just take it as I'm just loving you. And if you already know it, then you are already cooler than me. So the sausage needs to be cooked all the way through. And because we threw the zucchini in right when the sausage started to brown, we're going to have plenty of time to get a soft zucchini, but not a squishy one. I will tell you this, the Italians cook nothing that is squishy. Their food is not squishy. Everything kind of sits up. They're kind of easy on the sauce a little bit. In the area of Italy where I lived, I'm not going to speak for the whole country, obviously, but in the area where I lived, the pasta was served in a dish and then the sauce was scooped on top. So it was very proportional. Whereas here in America, we kind of swim our noodles in sauce a little bit. So I'm getting to the point where it is starting to come along. If you have any pink in your sausage, you are not there yet. How is everyone doing? Are we doing all right? Does anybody have questions? Any holdups? Do y'all need me to chill out? The other reason I wanted to do this, the comments will be a tiny bit delayed. So if I ask a question and then I don't answer you just yet, I promise it's not because it doesn't matter. People have different skills, and some people have stepped away from cooking home cooked meals for so long that they're kind of like, ooh, it all feels a little intimidating. So I just want to give y'all some kind of service, some kind of something to thank you for supporting me and my family, for being around, for walking through the doors, or just sending messages. Make sure you chunk up any big pieces of sausage because you'll get those little rare bits in there if you don't really crush it all down. That's why I try to grind it up a little bit more before I stick the zucchini in there too. Is everybody good? I'm not seeing any questions coming up. I'm guessing we're all pretty good right now. Every week I'm going to give y'all something a little different, but it's not going to be stuff that you probably already make at home. It's going to be stuff that I hope will bring a little variety to your family menu, give you couples out there a night to cook together with a little instruction. Oh, am I a free date night for anybody? That's what I want to know. Is everybody's kitchen starting to smell really good? It smells really good over here. I'm not going to lie. I'm hungry. I'm trying to remember if I ate today. No, ma'am. No pasta in just yet. We're going to put the pasta in just a second. That's our next step, actually. Yep, the water is boiling, but we're not going to put the pasta in yet. Sometimes it takes my stove a little bit longer to get it going. All right, so once this is completely cooked through, so I don't see any pink whatsoever in here. I want to make sure I'm not missing any questions. Yes, I'm really happy. I'm really happy. I'm going to add just like a tiny bit of value. I'm going to turn this down to medium low. And then my boiling water, we're going to go ahead and put the pasta in now. Sometimes I make my own pasta. Sometimes I just buy Kroger pasta like everybody else, okay? How do I bring yourself to use the key? I mean, things are not meant to last forever. You just got to do it. And I'll send you another one. I'm going to pour the pasta straight in here. Now, I cook my pasta by bite, which is al dente means in Italian means to the tooth. So that's kind of what it means. But if you don't know this, I know this sounds so crazy, but somebody told me the other day that she did not know this. It will tell you exactly how long to cook your pasta for on the box. And see, bring 4 quarts. I don't know if there are that many quarts in there. I just put it up to the knob. But it wants you to only cook for me, for the rigatoni, for about 13 minutes. We're not going to cook it quite that long. But now, since this is fully cooked through, I am going to save dishes, and I'm going to use my same spoon to just from time and again, give my pasta a little stir so it doesn't stick to the bottom, okay? This is on a very low cook. So this is going to get going. I'm going to do a super quick recap. Boiling water, generously salted, brown sausage, this until it was all incorporated and then cooked it fully. We just put our noodles in boiling water. The next thing we're going to do is get some heavy whipping cream. I was not in the front earlier, but one of the customers came in and said, oh, can I just use milk? Not really. You really need that fat from this. You need something sturdier than milk. You could use a whole milk. It's not going to be quite the same, but if you're going to use a milk, use a whole milk, okay? So I'm going to give this guy a shake, and I'm going to do something that's probably going to be annoying. I'm really sorry, but I don't actually have a real measurement for this because basically all I really want to do is make this swim a little, okay? So I'm going to pop this. This is 2 cups, I believe. I'm going to pop this in. I'm going to pour the whole 2 cups in for sure. And then I personally can already tell this is not quite enough to make me happy. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a little stir around and see how much more I need. And keep in mind that we're going to cook it in this liquid just a little bit longer. Then we're going to add cheese, and then we're going to toss the pasta in it. So we want a little more moisture than what's here so that the cheese has something to soak up and it's not sticky. I may end up using my whole quart because I like it to be really creamy. You do have to shake heavy cream because it gets thick on the bottom. Again, nothing fancy. Kroger, y'all. Me and Kroger go way back. So probably going to end up with about 3 cups here. There we go. Can y'all see from this angle that it's like a little splashy? It's well covered. You got a little bit sticking out. And keep in mind also that I used 2 zucchini. If you didn't use that much zucchini, you would not need that much cream, okay? Now, if you've already put in all that cream and you're like, oh, shoot, she didn't use all that, she needed all that cream because she used 2 zucchini and I didn't, it's fine. We'll just add a little more cheese and we'll make it all work. Everything that I ever teach you is going to have lots of room to ebb and flow. I do not drain the grease off. No, I do not. And you'll see that it gives it that colored look on here. It gives it that little, you'll see the grease in there. But again, it's going to all soak up. This is kind of a one-pot pasta in a way, although I think the Italians would not appreciate me saying it like that. I'm going to stir my noodles again. I hope I'm seeing your questions when you ask. And I'm going to show y'all. One thing that we do in America that's kind of a travesty is I'm going to turn this up just a little bit on my cream because I want to get a very soft simmer around the edge. I have a big pan, so it'll take a little bit longer for mine, so I'm going to turn up a little bit higher. But what you're looking for is just a tiny bubble around the edges because you want that heat up high enough that it's going to melt that cheese. We overcook our pasta. We really do. All the time. You should have to like bite into your pasta. It should not melt in your mouth. I know that seems odd for some folks. Can you calm down, sir? But I promise you'll have a better experience if you eat it al dente. Sounds so fancy. How are we doing on time? We're at 21 minutes, y'all. We're about to be done. As soon as this is done, 1 pound of sausage, exactly right. 1 pound of pasta, 1 pound of sausage, 1 quart of heavy cream, and then we're going to throw some cheese in here. Come on, guy. My giant pan is not serving me as well right now because it's taking a million years. Okay, before I put the cheese in, personally, I'm into crushed black pepper. If you don't like pepper, that's fine. If you have a hot oil that you like, that's fine. I do not put salt in here because we have already put our salt into the pasta. However, if you are just like really into it, that's fine. Put whatever seasonings you like. Personally, I think just a little bit of cracked pepper will do you well, and you probably don't need much more. This is 8 cups. We are not going to put anywhere near 8 cups, but just so in case anybody wants to know what size bag I'm pulling from. Again, disclaimer, no, I'm not wearing gloves because this is for my family, and I haven't touched anything raw, so I promise we're okay. Excuse me. I got like a whiff of pepper here. Can y'all see it boiling around the edge? I'm not sure if you can see it from there, but once it starts to do that, that's when you want your cream to go in. This is all going to happen pretty quick. This guy's ready. I don't want to ignore my pasta for too long. Here's how we're going to check it. When you put your pasta in, it's going to be very yellow, right? What you're looking for, this guy's almost done. I don't know if you can see this very well. Let's stick it on my pinky. But do y'all see how it's stark white right here? When it is ready, it will be that pale yellow like this, but it won't be translucent. This is probably 2 minutes from being ready. It's just a little bit too much. Right now it's sticking to my teeth a bit. That's a little undercooked. If you use less noodles, yes, just be happy. Be happy, Jess. I mean, I think with the ratio of cream, you might wish there was like a little more to soak it up, but I don't think you're gonna be sad about it, especially if you don't love noodles. So I'm gonna put in, for now, I'm gonna do 3 regular size handfuls, 3 like regular lady hand sizes. Okay, I'm not packing it in. I'm just gonna a sprinkle amount. And now that it's up to a simmer, I'm just gonna lower the heat just a little bit on this. We don't want to scorch anything, and gently stir it. Don't go into hyper whisk drive, okay? Because the cream is very hot. It will burn you. Please don't burn my friends right now. All right, I'm going to keep giving this a little stir, and I'm going to let it sit for a second while I tend to our noodles, because this noodles happen so quick. People are like, oh, it probably needs several more minutes. It probably just needs 2. So let's try this again. The only proper way to test a noodle, don't let me catch y'all throwing it against the wall or whatever you're doing. Tabitha, I can't tell if you're teasing me or not. Okay, see? We're at that same color. The noodle and the bite are the same color. It's ready. So, because I'm going to walk away for just a second, I'm going to turn. Do y'all see that once you let this cook for a second, can y'all see how thick this is? I hope it's translating. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm chewing, like talking with my mouth full. Sorry, y'all. Can you see that this is thick and gooey? So what we're going to do is we're going to drain this down. I never drain, shake, pour it back in the pot. Instead, I do a quick drain and pour it straight back in the pot, because one of the things that you do when you, I turn my eye off just so y'all know, if yours is cooked, turn your eye off. I just use the mozzarella. Yep. Sorry. Oh, good. I'm so glad. Yay. I'm so happy. If anybody learns one tiny thing. Okay. Sorry. I got distracted. When you dump all of your pasta water out, you're getting rid of all the starch that cooked out of it too. And the starch kind of adds a little something in that starchy water to your dishes. So you don't want to put like whole ladles full, but you do not have to worry about shaking all the starch water out of every noodle. All right. So my strainer's over here in my sink. I'm not going to try to turn y'all around to watch me strain it. It ain't that interesting, but I'm going to grab this guy. I'm going to strain it quick. I'm not shaking it out. I'm just going to bring it straight back over, still dripping. And I'm going to gently put it right into the top of my cream. All right. Also, obviously, I'm not cool. Nobody sponsors me to say anything, but this is the Martha Stewart colander. And it does this like thing where it stretches onto whatever thing that you're doing it on. And it's pretty cool. So I just wanted to tell you that. And then all we're going to do is start kind of just gently. This is why we have this giant skillet. If you are not going to have a skillet that is big enough to put your noodles in, go backwards. Leave them in your kettle. Pour your sauce over the top. Now, at this point, oh no, I dropped a noodle in the grate. I'm trying to decide if I can leave it. No, I need to get tongs and get it out. Hold on a second. Dinner with Miss Darlin. Adventure awaits. Come here, guy. Haha, surgery. So I'm going to take it completely off the hot eye now. And y'all, supper, it's done. This is supper. This is the whole thing. It should be pretty thick, a little bit meaty. If for some reason you look at this and you're like, this is really thick, I maybe added too much cheese, use the rest of your heavy cream, thin it out. If it's really, really thick and you can't quite scoop it and it's not where you're happy, use a little milk to thin it out. I'm just going to grab a bowl. If y'all have any questions, don't leave yet. I'm going to plate it. If you have any questions, go ahead and throw them up in the comments, because I'm going to be with you for the next couple of minutes. And I think I actually have my buon appetito bowl. I meant to grab it. So I had a set of these in Italy, and they say buon appetito, and I bought them at a thrift store, and 3 of them have broken. This is my last remaining one, so I'm really sad about it. But so this is kind of my designated pasta bowl. So you can use your spoon. I normally use a ladle, but whatever. We're saving on dishes here, right? And then look, guys, come on. It took us, even with all my explanations, 28 minutes. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah, Kelly, actually the ingredients are all already posted. And every week on Monday, I was so excited about it. I got like a little winded coming over here. The advice to thicken the sauce, a little more cheese. And Cassandra, if you already have a lot of cheese in there, just let it simmer for a little bit. It will thicken all by itself. Thank you, thank you. So, I mean, that's the whole meal. Next week, here's what we're going to do. Next week is going to be a super short one, because we're not going to leave it in the oven and just have me look at your faces and chew your ear off the whole time. But next week, I'm going to show you how to construct the French toast bake that Big D made for me the other night. A bunch of y'all saw the pictures and said, that looks so great. How do you make it? So we're just going to show you. That's going to be like a 5-minute prep. Throw it in the oven, or put it in the refrigerator overnight for the next day to throw in the oven the next morning for quick breakfast. So you can either do breakfast for supper with us, or you can do it for your next morning breakfast. I am going to hang on. I'm going to just stay online throughout the evening, and I will answer any questions for anybody that's cooking later. A couple frequently asked questions. Yeah, I'm going to leave the video up. Why not? I want y'all to be able to cook it whenever you want. Refer back to it. That's why I kind of put the date and the description and all of that in the description, so that you can do a search for it later if you forget it. Anything else? Any other questions? I had forgot. And anything that you come up with that you have any questions about later, just send me a message. I'm here for you. I'm going to be doing this with y'all every Friday night. I'm going to give you a friend to hang out with on Friday nights if you want, a little free lesson, free date night if you're into that kind of thing, if you're the kind of person that gets date nights, things like that. So I have loved spending this time with y'all. 30 minutes on the button. I'm so proud of myself. I hope that y'all got something out of this. I hope you got supper out of it. I'm going to call my kiddos down to eat supper. I loved being here with y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in and just hanging out with me tonight. I have really been looking forward to this all day. So yeah, if you're eating it, please post below and tell me how it tastes. I'm dying to know what you think. So have an amazing night. If you don't know, we're open 10 to 2 tomorrow. Please come see us if you like to. We'd love to see your faces. Have an amazing weekend. Otherwise, take care of yourselves like I'm trying to take care of you. Take care of others. See you later.